On today's show, we cover a super fascinating topic: political spies and moles for the other side of the political divide. Now, in recent times, we have had some very fascinating revelations and allegations. Even people like Susan Kihika, who many people thought was very deep inside UDA, are now being accused of being spies for the other side of the political divide. Kenyans are confused. Well, I hope my show today will bring a lot more clarity to this issue, because I believe the problem is many Kenyans do not understand how moles in politics, especially as we head to a very important general election, how they work, what is to be expected going forward. Many Kenyans have no experience in that. Many Kenyans don't even know that moles have always been around. Since the days of Jomo Kenyatta, since the days of Moi, we've always had political moles. People who are on the other side, but their real masters are the other side of the political divide, whom they feed with information regularly, even as they continue hitting out at the same people, their masters, who are putting food on their table for them. And right now, the environment in Kenya is very conducive, perfect for many, many moles to exist. The economy is in a problem. People don't have money. Politicians who spend and spend and spend like there's no tomorrow, many of them are broke. So how do you get out of your broke situation? You become a mole, a valuable mole for the other side of the political divide. And so in our video today, I'm going to name names. Oh yes. And some of the names will shock you to your bones. But I believe it will also be much clearer to you how this game of moles in politics is played. Karibu sana, and I'm very sure you're going to enjoy. What many people who are new to politics don't know is that moles, double crosses, you name it, are very normal in politics, especially when the stakes are so high. Even in the past, we have had moles who have crossed over to the other side of the political divide and done their job. Every mole in any situation has to be given a mission, something to do, something to accomplish. Right from the days of the late President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, there were moles in politics. Indeed, in my opinion, moles are more common in Kenyan politics, spies for the other side, than in the politics of many other African countries. Indeed, I believe this started during colonial days. That spirit is still very much alive in our country. Now, during the days of Moi, he had his moles in the opposition, people who are under his payroll. Now, I want to give the Moi examples first, so that we understand the circumstances under which most people become spies for the other side, while pretending to be ndani kabisa of a certain political movement. And I'm sure many of you might have already guessed it. the biggest motivation for somebody to cross over and spy for another political outfit is mbesha, money. Hella hard cash. Oh yes. You see, at the time multi-party politics came knocking, yeah, in the early 90s, Kenya's economy was in a very bad situation. Many people were in trouble. Loans being recalled by banks, people being threatened by auctioneers, etc., etc. And Moi took full advantage of this. And he ended up with very many moles in the opposition whom you would never guess. Let me give a few examples. George Anyona, a great Kenyan, who had fought long and hard for a better Kenya, is widely believed to have been a Moi mole. Martin Shikuku, the People's Watchman, a man who had given his all fighting for better Kenya, had been detained multiple times. Indeed, he got detained at one point and he was not even able to walk. Let me just tell you a brief story. One day, my late political lecturer was in a police air wing aircraft flying back to Nairobi. I believe it was from somewhere in Mombasa. And he got onto this aircraft, and then when they were airborne, they were informed that they were going to make a brief stopover. And they stopped over at Manyani prison, yeah, where a lot of detainees used to be kept, yeah, in those days. And as he was waiting, still on his seat, somebody walked in who was very familiar, or rather stumbled in, having great difficulties in walking. That man was Martin Shikuku. And since my late political lecturer knew him, Shikuku smiled. And of course my political lecturer didn't know what to do. Because smiling back could easily create a lot of problems. Somebody would go back to the government and say, this police officer was smiling at a detainee. Can we investigate? Maybe he's working with these detainees to overthrow the government, or something crazy like that. So he just nodded back, but it was Martin Shikuku. I believe he was being taken for treatment. It was something serious. He couldn't even walk, despite the fact that he was able to pull off a smile, a weak one. Yes, somebody who had suffered long and hard, fighting and fighting for a better tomorrow, for a better Kenya. But I have a hunch that what really happened is that multi-party politics disillusioned a lot of these gallant Kenyans. It's like they gave up. They realized politics will always be politics. And it would be very difficult to bring real change into Kenya. So they decided, why not? Why not just go for the cash? A very famous saying of the wise comes to mind. It is not how you run the race, it is how you finish it. And a lot of these gallant Kenyans did not finish their race well. And that's why I have a lot of respect for people like Koigi wa Omwere. This man, if I become president tomorrow, I'm going to award the biggest award possible and even create a new one for this great Kenyan. He has stuck to his principles. He has stuck to his mission. He has stuck to his race. Nakuru people have refused to vote him in. They have refused to elect him. But Koigi Omwere is still the same man. It is very instructive that after the 1992 first multi-party elections, there were so many defections, especially from Kenneth Matiba's Ford Asili, indicating very clearly to any keen observer that Moi must have had a lot of moles within Ford Asili, Matiba's Ford Asili, which many people saw as the only opposition party capable of bringing change to Kenya. because it was led by a man whose personal motto was koga na kwega. That is, you talk and you do it. And he had proved it in his life. Kenneth Stanley Njindo Matiba. May he continue to rest in peace. A very great Kenyan. May God Almighty give us another Matiba soon. A man who was ready to sacrifice his business empire, his money, his comfort, so that you and I can have a better Kenya. So that you and I can live in a more free Kenya. Let me not get emotional, but I need to tell you this. I cried a lot at Kenneth Matiba's send-off. And I cried because he did not live to enjoy the fruits of what he suffered so much for. Oh boy. In 2013, Musalia Mudavadi was a blue-eyed boy, headed straight to State House. But then things changed. But Musalia Mudavadi remained faithful, and his role was changed to that of a mole for the establishment. And he was given the mission to deny Raila votes in Western Kenya. So he ran as a presidential candidate, focusing all his campaigns within the Mulembe nation, virtually all. Of course, he didn't succeed very much because Raila still got a lot of votes from Western Kenya. But we're talking about moles. In my opinion, Musalia Mudavadi is playing a similar role in 2022. Okay, he has been given a job to do. And in my opinion, he's doing it very well. Now, there's something very important I want to remind us, so that we take note of it. There are many ways a mole can be used. There are many roles a mole can play. And one of the roles a mole can play very effectively is to remain in the camp he has been assigned to, even after the elections. So get this idea out of your mind, that a mole, before the elections, will be exposed. I think the best approach here is to give you an example of how moles are used in espionage. Now, first of all, moles, the most valuable, are usually recruited from deep inside the regime that is being spied on. America has a very good record of recruiting moles deep inside the Iranian government, even trusted intelligence officers. And these people are most valuable when they're still working deep inside Iran. Not when they've been exposed and they've had to seek political asylum. No. After that, they become useless. Because after they give all the information they can, that's it, they become useless. And that's not the idea of this game. The whole idea is to keep a mole active and useful to the maximum for the longest time possible. My point is, some of these names I'm mentioning, it is possible that they will stay right where they are long after the elections. And they'll continue to release statements, hard-hitting statements against the other side, well after the elections. But when push comes to shove, they're still moles for the other side of the political divide. Kunaendanga hivyo. Now, there have been very recent allegations against UDA, diehard, allegedly, Susan Kihika, one of a very famous Kenyan politician who used to be called Kihika Kimani. He used to operate in Nakuru, dominated Nakuru politics for decades. Now, UDA must have very good reasons for labeling her a spy for the other side of the political divide. And even if it is true that she was slapped by an aide of the deputy president actually the Nicholas Biwott of UDA, Farouk Kibet. Even if that is true, this matter is not as simple as just telling Susan Kihika to take a walk. No. She also has other UDA secrets, which UDA insiders will be very anxious about. They're anxious about cutting ties with her completely, so that I end to the other side, naanze kuropokwa. They're nervous about that. So it is very complicated. My guess is that she'll be kept on board. Yeah, but kept out of some secrets. Kept out of the inside circle. You see, the problem here is that we are too close to a general election for people to take certain drastic actions. They could easily backfire. Anne Waiguru from Kirinyaga is yet another character I highly suspect could be a mole for the other side of the political divide. You will all be aware of the fact that she has been doing a lot of hop, skip and jump. Skipping from Ruto to Uhuru, back to Ruto. What? Kunaendanga hivyo. High stakes, high level politics. Johnson Sakaja. If you look very deeply at this man's history in politics, you know he started out as a driver. Yeah, he was one of the drivers in the Kibaki team. And that's how he met Uhuru Kenyatta. My gut feeling just doesn't buy the idea of Sakaja being a Ruto man. Imekata. But of course I could be wrong. Yeah, because even with the information, some of this information is not conclusive. You can't be sure. Another name that will shock many people: the bullfighter of Ikolomani, Dr. Boni Halwale. You know, one telltale sign, as far as I'm concerned, is a politician who does not appear to have a clear roadmap. Yeah, you're not sure what he's really up to. He's vying for this seat, or he has been persuaded not to vie for it, etc., etc. Yeah. Usually for me, that is a red flag. Bottom line, what we all need to know is that the idea most Kenyans have of moles is not correct. This thing is not going to end soon. Yeah, just before the election, somebody comes out and says, "Ha, I caught you guys. I was always a mole. I fed the other side. Ha ha ha, we have won." No, nothing like that. In many instances, these moles will never come out to the public and be exposed. In all likelihood, they'll stay put. Yeah, well after the elections. Yeah, something might happen well after the elections, maybe 2-3 years down the line. You'll hear somebody has been appointed to a certain government post. Yeah, by the wrong side or something like that. But of course, by then people have forgotten that this man was even a suspected mole. That's how it works out. And that's what we should expect. And it gets even more confusing because we also have double agent moles. People playing both sides. They're in UDA, but then also they're in Jubilee. They're feeding both sides with confidential information from the enemies, from the other side of the political divide. And so life goes on. But we also need to take note of the fact that the government side always has a huge advantage in recruiting moles, because they can wave files. They have a lot more power. The other side of the political divide can only offer money. Yeah? So if this statement is true, then it is to be expected that there are many more moles, yeah, sent by Azimio into UDA than there are UDA moles within Azimio. Yeah, that's just the reality of politics. the reality of our situation in Kenya today. I will of course keep you posted. This is a very fascinating topic. And as we go forward, I will do an update video in the next few weeks, as things become clearer. And I'm sure by that time, a lot more names will have come to the surface. A lot more things will have been revealed. But it's all part of the political game. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha. When God gives you a gift, it is not for you. It is not for your family. It is for other people. You're supposed to use your gift to change the lives of other people. And for those who seek happiness in this life, nothing will make a human being happier. Trust me, nothing in this world will make a human being happier than the knowledge that they have changed one person's life forever. Now I've been very fortunate to have been very gifted by God. And not only gifted, but also trained in the renowned University of Hard Knocks. The harsh university of this life. And I feel very privileged and very humbled to get to know all the time that I've changed many people's lives forever. I even know a couple of people who no longer come to this channel. Not because they hate me, but because they are busy these days. So busy that they hardly have time, but they have regained their dignity. They are putting food on the table. They are doing a lot of things, amazing things. And all thanks to some books I produced, which you can see on your screens right now, that changed their lives. Not only did they get that idea that changed everything, but they also got the skills to be able to sell without looking like they're selling. Because it's one thing to get a brilliant idea to make money, but it's quite another to do it practically and get people interested and get somebody to actually pay you real money for what it is you're offering. It is also one thing to have a business that is struggling, a business operating way below its true potential. That's one thing. And it's quite another to turn around that business so that it prospers. You have plenty of customers. My sincere hope in making this short clip is to influence and change the lives of many more Kenyans, because that is my mandate. That is what I was born to do. And I felt that this is the perfect time. Many people have been hit very hard by the COVID manenos. Life has become very difficult, almost unbearable for some. Some businesses that were making serious money before Corona are now struggling. Others have shut down completely. There is no better time for these two amazing titles have produced. 101 brilliant business ideas or money-making ideas that will thrive in the country called Kenya and well beyond, almost anywhere in the world. And how to get plenty of customers immediately, very quickly. For only $25, you can have both ebooks, life-changing ebooks. And for only $15, you can have only the ideas. Now you can see details on your screens right now. You will find full payment details in the description area below this video on YouTube. Go for it. I highly recommend it. And I have a suggestion. Maybe you're okay. You're doing okay. I would suggest that you get it for a friend. You get the books for a friend, a relative, or somebody you know who is having it very difficult right now. It'll help them. It'll change their lives. And you'll have helped me to touch one more life, to change one more life, because that is my mission. Asante sana.